First of all, Ryan, congratulations on this amazing build.
Thank you, man. Yeah, Battle Builders Top 10, and then we also got chosen for the Shine Award as well.
There were only 2 imports in the top 10 of
Correct.
Battle Builders.
Yep, the Toyota Supra that was on the cover of Super Street, and the Integra.
Yeah, I feel like this might be on a cover sometime.
Probably,
I don't know, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, congratulations on that, because they don't recognize Hondas here. I mean, they like Hondas or whatever, but they don't really recognize them. They appreciate all like the old school restorations and crazy builds.
Yeah, there's only like a handful of Hondas here, really. Honestly, it feels surreal. Like, it's a crazy feeling. You know, I was actually interviewed by the SEMA staff earlier, and you know, they were like, tell us how it really feels. And I hadn't really thought about it. And I was just thinking like, man, like this is like a very prestigious thing. The names that are on the top 10 board are incredible.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
like Chip Foose,
Ring Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how can you compete with the Ring Brothers, bro? Like, it's not even possible.
Well, apparently
you can.
So, tell us a little bit about the car. It's been a long time coming.
Yes. I believe, I don't even remember now, to be honest. So I acquired the car probably 6, 7, 5, I don't know, years ago. It was the Rando Integra originally. And you know, it got sold and this and that happened, and it ended up in the side of a ditch somewhere, stolen, parts missing, and I acquired the shell for really cheap. And I decided, you know, this is gonna be a long build. This is gonna be like my big Honda build. We sent it to fabrication at ASC in San Diego. We sent it to paint at Burlingame Auto Body, you know, up in NorCal. Ravi at CSF Radiators is like, hey man, you know, if you're down, you put the car together, I'm down for it to be in the booth. And so we literally like shook on it, and I saw him at a meet or something like that. And then it was just on like 8 months of just figuring it out, dialing it in, you know, ordering components and figuring out how components work. We went with a K24 Powerplant. It's fully built, K20 head, you know, we got a precision turbo. So it's gonna make great power, and the car is, you know, geared for road racing, you know, time attack, circuit car. I really wanted to build something for the tuner, you know, like these guys maybe have never heard of this kind of technology that we put into these cars, and maybe they aren't aware of some of the amazing things you could actually do. And I also wanted to be taken seriously, and it's proven itself that we are taking seriously now. Maybe the Ring Brothers will build a Honda next year.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Right, maybe somebody that is into Hondas or was a Honda guy that maybe is financially now stable, you know, business owner, maybe they'll approach me and say, listen, Ryan, like, can you build me something to that caliber? I have this old Datsun, or I have this CRX or something. Man, like, that would be wonderful. Because I don't know if I could stretch budget again to do another car like this, but you know, if somebody was on board, like maybe we can make this happen years and years at a time.
Well, there's a lot of technology that people probably aren't that familiar with it in this car. Can you kind of tell us about, you know, those technologies and how you applied them?
Oil system. It's a Honda HPD dry sump. It's a 3-stage billet dry sump fitted inside the oil pan. And that's something that even muscle car guys have never seen before. They're like, wow, that's interesting. Like, yeah, it cleans up the bay a lot, and really it's like tolerances. You know, you're not fighting space in the engine bay and stuff like that. We fitted the oil tank inside the car. You know, we plumbed the lines, you know, through, and it's great. The oil pressure is steady. It's awesome. For the fuel system, we decided to go with a XRP Motorsport HS79 hose, and they're like Wiggins clamps. So they're super high dollar, you know, high-end motorsport grade plumbing. The cooling system on the car, like, we actually do a full line of products with CSF. We have tucked radiators, as well as the radiator you see here, which is kind of a custom unit. They built this for me completely one-off to fit my intercooler, and everything kind of just goes hand in hand with the way that I designed it. And even that radiator itself is available now for purchase. The thing that I probably pride myself the most on is the paddle shift system and everything that goes along with that. So what we started with was a Quafe sequential transmission. I then got a billet bell housings transmission case. It's fully CNC cut, fully custom transmission case. We then decided to implement a paddle system to that. We went with a company overseas that specializes a lot in high-end motorsports and even F1 car. So we used their solenoid system, their actuators, their paddle clickers. So I used the raw components from their already made and already, you know, manufactured pieces. And then we decided to use an air compressor to fill up an accumulator with a pressure sensor for the ECU to know to turn it on and off, the compressor. And then we have the solenoids and the actuator shifting the transmission. So it's an air shift system.
Okay.
And that's fully programmed and, you know, driven by the Motec M1 system. So the Motec M1 ECU with a PDM and our digital, you know, C127 dash and all the other high-end Motec Motorsport components are basically used in this system with my wiring package to make the system work completely. It took me about 450 hours, I would say, to design and to actually build the full wiring harness for the car. Everything is terminated with Deutsch Autosport connectors. There's no plastic connectors on anything on the engine at all. So everything is actually kind of dremeled down, glued, potted, and then booted, twisted, tagged, and then sealed with an Autosport connector. So every single sensor is fully addressed, and that would be something that you'd see in like F1 technology or true motorsport wiring. I'm gonna market the car for a good while, you know, give me about a year or so, and then I'm gonna start shaking down the car myself. I'm gonna implement some sensors, wheel speed to get traction control stuff, where we can, you know, pull back some timing and pull back power on the turbo. I also want to do some like linear sensors for shock travel and stuff like that, so we can have some real data so the car can actually work on track. I could have built the car to spec, but I don't think that it would have had the impact that I truly would have wanted. So I had to just say, you know what, it's going to be an unlimited car. I'm going to be racing with like the fastest guys, and I need that data, man. We really took nothing and turned it into something. I really wanted to build something for the tuner.